Ladies and gents, welcome back. Gen Z, the Zoomers, they're starting to speak out, and speak out as they may. It doesn't sound much different than generations of a bygone era. It just seems that the target may be a little bit different. And what they're saying is, leave us alone. We're tired of hearing about it, and we'd just like to move on with our lives. And I've got video of this, but let's get into the story first from the Post Millennial. Canadian Catholic school students revolt, destroy Pride items. A group of students is under fire after reacting negatively to Pride protest in suburban Toronto, Ontario school district. The protest was staged by students who were dismayed at the York Catholic School Board's decline to fly the Progress flag for their Pride Month after some students brought forward the proposal. Now, so they've said we're not gonna fly that pride flag, whatever, get out of here. And well, they staged their own walkout in response to the denial. Students in Newmarket and across the York region staged a walkout in support of the flag. The students say that they were subject to harassment by other students who were opposed to flying the flag and antagonistic towards the all-encompassing Pride Month as well. And Global News had the story here, and it's really interesting because they're going out there not because they're being subjected to any sort of persecution, but they want to be able to just shove it in your, get out there, you gotta have this, you need to. And here the students didn't want to hear it. They're tired of it, they're sick of it, and this was the reaction. It was actually pretty funny.
This walkout at St. Brother Andre in Markham was intended as an opportunity to support 2S LGBTQ+ students at a time where the York Catholic Board has ruled to not raise the pride flag for Pride Month.
Everyone has the right to love who they want to love.
It's weird that they're prioritizing the comfort of the parents rather than the safety of the students.
But messages like this were quickly drowned out by the noise of a rowdy crowd. Students tearing through pride posters and dancing on pride flags.
It's rude, and they're throwing water everywhere, they're looking at us, they're judging us. Shouldn't be like that. You're out for a reason.
Rambunctious teens then turned violent, throwing pride bracelets and other random objects on the road and at people.
That's the violence. Look at all that violence. And this is just, it's ridiculous because it's been shoved down everybody's throats so much. And finally, a generation of people are saying, this is enough. I'm tired of hearing about it. Go away. You're free to live your life the way you want, and nobody's telling you can't. Yeah. Tired. Stop shoving it down our throats. Here we go.
Road and at people.
Some kid threw something at my head, and then in response to that, everyone started cheering. There was like a group of guys, and they were more like harassing us than supporting us.
Organizers say the disruptive group also.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. It's sad when people are, I wouldn't call this harassment. I would call this more a case of, kids giving it back to you. This is, I've suffered through it when I was a kid. There's pushback in every direction, and kids will be kids, and hopefully it doesn't turn into anything of real violence. This doesn't seem like real violence in my opinion, but yeah, again, kids being told how to believe and how to react, and well, this is kids saying enough is enough. Don't tell me what to do. When you got a busybody who comes in with, and I'm sorry to say it, what are you wearing a mask for, young healthy lady? Or I'm assuming you're a lady. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't be making those assumptions. But yeah, if somebody throws a bracelet at your head, that's not good. But what do you expect when you're telling everybody how that they should behave? And well, this is much what is happening with this generation, and it's not the only walkout. This is another walkout that's happened at an Ottawa school where it's actually the opposite. It's not the LGBT kids going out there and saying, and why should we be saying LGBT kids? It's of a sexual nature. Kids should just be left to be kids, but this is the whole point. Kids aren't being left to be kids, and these are more walkouts that are happening in the opposite direction. Kids are getting out and saying, we don't want this stuff forced on us, And we have our own beliefs, and you need to respect that. Here's Chanel Pfahl on Twitter. She went to the Ottawa school to talk to some of these students.
You can find me on Twitter.
What do you ask people?
I guess I'm just curious, like, what is happening in your school? What motivates you to be here?
I've seen at least 2 women who are just like men acting men into the boys' washroom, and I can see that. I can tell the women, and I don't feel confident. I mean, comfortable seeing them coming, because us boys we need privacy too. Maybe because it's privacy, but us boys have privacy too. So we don't need these biological women to enter our washroom too. As our sisters in grade 7 and grade 8, who men went into the washroom without hijab, and that for our religion, it's really bad, right?
Really bad, yeah.
It's really bad. So we came out here today to show up and tell this is wrong and not to do it again, you know?
And the thing is, like, even if you...
So this, she interviews a lot of students, and I'll leave a link in the description down below where you can go check out this video in its entirety. But this is not the only school that's having these protests. Here's Rebel News reporting on another school in Ottawa. Here's dozens of Ottawa high schools. This is from the Epoch Times. Students stage walkout to protest gender ideology. They just had enough of all of this. This is from Matthew Horwood. Check it out. Link in the description down below. But here's a quote here. There are Muslim, white, and Asian students in the crowd. There are students from every ethnicity. This is not an ethnic or religious protest. This is a protest for the students who just not want to be indoctrinated. We just want to have our beliefs that differ from other people, said AT, one of the organizers of the walkout. AT, who did not want to be named for fear of facing consequences from the school, as you would imagine. The oppressed people. Why are the oppressed people, the people who are allegedly oppressed, always seem to be the ones oppressing the ones who actually stand up against them? But that's the whole backwards thinking here. There is consequences for people who do stand up and speak out about this. He said that the LDHSS Students for Change was created in response to the LGBTQ indoctrination being pushed on students. If you want to be transgender, I have nothing wrong with that, he said, but let me live my life and let me follow my beliefs. And don't force me to believe what you believe, he said. And that's really what it comes down to. People wanting to be left alone. Now, the news media having a hard time with this one. The bailed out news media saying, what do we do? How do we cover this? One way we might look Islamophobic, and the other way we might look transphobic. Well, you could just possibly give a neutral, unbiased approach to this and just say, hey, these are people on both sides. One side saying we want to enforce these rules. The other side saying we don't want the rules enforced upon us because it might be that might be bigoted in that direction. Now, the Rational Post here saying our legacy media struggled with not reporting on this too much. Perhaps if the Muslims had less skin pigmentation and wore Make Canada Great Again hats, it would have made it easier for the media to attack them. But this is the way it's been going. Now, how has it been going in Canada? We have another article here from the Post Millennial. New Brunswick pushes back against Trudeau's demand that schools keep students' gender identity secret from parents. And this is really a troubling situation when it comes to parental rights, which, of course, Trudeau recently said is a far-right thing for Canadians to believe in. If you believe in parental rights, it's far-right. Here's an article from the National Post. Again, links in the description down below. Why Trudeau is calling parents far-right, calling them far-right monsters is dangerous. And, well, it's really, that's a dangerous thing, throwing that kind of rhetoric out there from a leader of a country. Prime Minister Trudeau said Friday that parents should not have to be informed if their children are under the age of 16 to change their gender. Trans kids in New Brunswick are being told they don't have the right to be their true selves, that they need to ask permission. Well, you should ask permission for everything when you're under 16. You have parental guardians, and that is that. And it's good to see that, well, there's actually pushback in New Brunswick. Now, we have here New Brunswick Premier Blaine Higgs has reversed a provincial policy that would have allowed children under 16 to change genders without telling their parents. Higgs told reporters he won't budge from the policy because it's taking a strong position on families. Trudeau wasn't the only one furious that parents should know what gender their children decide to be. One would-be teacher had a meltdown on social media, and this is well, I'll just show the video here because this is just unhinged.
So Wayne Higgs and Bill Hogan did it. Children under the New Brunswick are going to be outed to their parents if they choose to change their pronouns in school. It fucking happened and it went through. It's coming into effect July 1st. I'm currently working my way to become a teacher. I only have 2 years left of school, and I'm in New Brunswick. I don't know what to do right now. I don't know if I want to leave this province and go teach somewhere else, because I can't out students. That's not something that I'm willing to do. That's not something I ever pictured being a part of this job. I'm not harming students in my own community.
What should be part of your job is teaching them arithmetic, reading, writing. These are the things that teachers should be doing. And this calls into question, why are teachers taking such a big stance on the personal lives of their students? They shouldn't have this much access to the personal lives of students in the first place. They shouldn't be indulging in that or involving themselves with students in this manner. And if this kind of thing is brought up by the students, it should be shared with the parents. Absolutely. It shouldn't be in the purview of a teacher to do this. But then it really does call into question, why did you become a teacher in the first place if teaching kids is not your priority and you're willing to leave the province if you're not allowed to, as you say, out your students or push your students into this ideology in the first place? The big question here would be, why do these students feel this way anyway? If this wasn't brought up to them in the first place, why is it that they are thinking this particular way? It seems that the epidemic of this starts with the ideology of these teachers in these schools these days. Students haven't been bringing this up for generations. It's only recently when the teachers have been bringing this up with the students that the students have been having a big problem with this. But I'll leave this question with you guys. Is this something that teachers should be teaching in schools in the first place? Obviously, this is what a lot of these protests have been about. Now we have students getting out there and raising their concerns. It's not just parents that are raising their concerns. There are a number of students who are probably taught by good parents on how to think, not what to think, and they're actually starting to question authority in this case. But hey, I'll leave this with you guys. Leave a comment in the comment section down below, and we'll see you in the next one. Keep on trucking.